Hi, my name is Kirsten Erickson,
My name is Nick Tallarico.
and I'm here as the founder and executive director of Forge. Forge is an international NGO that works with refugee populations in Africa and people that are returning home after being refugees. And what we do is facilitate social entrepreneurship. So we help refugees to build their own projects and build their own initiatives that will allow their communities to be revitalized and restabilized after war. Everything from computer training centers to libraries to women's empowerment programs and programs for children. The important part, though, is that instead of doing it from the top down, we're allowing those programs to build from the bottom up.
Considering we're at the conference for volunteering and service, and considering we're on our way to the dinner for the 40 under 40, in which you were being honored as one of the 40 new leaders under the age of 40, I think people might want to hear the story of how the organization was founded originally.
Sure. Well, I'm 26 years old now, but when I started Forge, I was 20. I was a junior at Stanford University, and I had always been really involved in service, which is applicable to this conference because I was the chairman of the Youth Volunteer Corps of Sonoma County when I was in high school, and I was very involved in local poverty issues. It wasn't until after my first trip to the African continent, I went to Kenya when I was 17, that I got really, really passionate about global poverty and just the ways in which people in America, people all over the world could contribute to making sort of our global society more just, more equal, more fair, make it possible for every kid that wanted to get an education to be able to do so. So I had actually traveled to a refugee camp in Botswana after my sophomore year in college because I'd gotten so impassioned about African education systems. And it was there in that camp that I realized just what an opportunity refugees could be to really impact the future of their countries and contribute to stabilization and peace processes on the African continent. And I ended up starting an organization, which is now Forge. We're 6 years old. And Forge was started really by the power of young, passionate volunteers, a lot of which were college students, just my friends and the people that I was able to mobilize. And we've grown into a large, cross-continental organization with 165 staff people. And we still are, we're still grassroots-based ultimately, and we're still served constantly by the power of volunteers.
And I was actually one of those people that Kirsten was able to mobilize. I don't have the same background of volunteerism, especially not when I was a younger person. After graduating college, I went directly into business, everything from wholesale to retail to entertainment to real estate, and I still had a desire to do something that might be a little more important and might affect more people worldwide. So I kind of found my opportunity to apply my unique skill set for somebody my age to Forge, which needed somebody like me. I'm not an African Studies major. I don't have a history in international relations, but I was able to apply something that I can do to an organization that needed it. So my story is not a typical volunteer story, but nonetheless it met a need that an organization had at that time. And that's kind of how our organization runs at this point. I mean, we have all sorts of needs, everything from fundraising to office management, and we have a few paid employees, some really skilled people, but we have some highly skilled, amazing volunteers as well, and that's all set up and run through our volunteer program. Which
I think that you should tell the story of how you ended up quitting your job and how fully you became involved and how sort of impassioned your volunteer experience made you.
So when Kirsten and I met, I had a full-time job, and I was working to make the money that I needed, or I felt like I needed at that time. And I ended up in a refugee camp in Zambia 3 months after getting involved with the organization, purely on a fundraising level. And I was just so overcome with, I guess the word would be pride. I mean, I'd only been involved for 3 months, but I was just very proud to be involved with this organization with these people who were just, shaking my hand and telling me all these amazing things that Forge has done. And that that was enough to just get me to fly home after a month in a camp and put my house on the market and sell my car. And by the end of that summer, I was back in Zambia full-time, and I spent the next 2 years building the organization alongside Sherston to the point that we could, that we could hire more people and get more volunteers involved.
It's a great story. So, I mean, along those lines, I think that the American public, has an opportunity, especially right now in this incredible time, to get involved with causes that, make you just as inspired and impassioned as we both have been, and have decided to dedicate our lives to in different ways. Myself, full-time, Nick, as a board member now, and as a volunteer on the side. And if people out there are interested in doing that with Forge, we have several different volunteer programs, including ones that allow people to travel to Africa. And our website is forgenow.org, which is www.forgenow.org.
And if you want to contact us directly, you can send an email to info@forgenow.org with any volunteering ideas you might have.